loves, and welcome to Blush Beauty Daily. I am super excited to be here. I hope that everyone is staying safe and hopefully this quarantine will be done soon so we can all get back to our regular lives. But as for today, I wanted to come on. I got a few requests for just something a little more natural, just wear every day to look fresh and bronzed. Finally spring. We've had a little bit of snow here in Michigan the last couple days, but we're hoping that's past us. That is in the past. I did buy a few new products that I want to try today. Key products that I think that everyone should have in their daily makeup routine. There's so many different products out there, but these are just the ones that I have had the most success with, that are those select products that you find that are cheaper and that work great, but majority of the time you get what you pay for. So all I've done so far is cleansed and moisturized my face. I'm going to start off with a primer, and primer is so important. I know myself, I deal with larger pores. It's just nice to make everything look smooth. It fills in all those fine lines, wrinkles, pores. Lately, I've been liking these two products here. This is the Morphe Revitalizer, and they do have an equalizer primer as well. But the Revitalizer is for dry skin. I've been using that one, and then this is the Pure 4-in-1 Correcting Primer. Got this in like a FabFit fun box type of thing, but this has aloe, coconut water, probiotics. It's vegan, silicone free, so this one is really nice too for dry skin. So I'm gonna go in with the Morphe, start with that, and I just do a little dab on the back of my hand there. Dot all around the face, rub in. Now the goal today is just to keep everything nice and light. We're not going for that full glam look. We're just doing something really natural and fresh and gives a nice dewiness to the skin. My pores feel less noticeable and texture is gone. Now this is something I wanted to try for you guys. I have not tried this yet, but I ordered this. This is the NARS Instant Line and Pore Perfector. Supposedly, it's on this little stick. Put it right in my T-zone, those areas that seem to get a little bit more textured. I'm just kind of running that over areas with my bigger pores. Oh, it feels really creamy. Feels good. Nice, I like that. It is matte, so if you are wanting a dewier finish, I would try something else, but that definitely worked. If I'm doing a more glam look, I like to start with my eyes and brows and all of that. If you have that fallout, you can clean up underneath your eyes. But today, since we're doing, I'm not even going to use an eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to be using my Tarteist. This is the Pro Glow palette. So I'm just going to be using this for eyeshadow, for everything. Everything's just going to be super bronzed and simple. Now that we are all primed, I did dampen my beauty blender, and a couple people have asked me what the correct way is, and I just like to hold mine underwater and let it fill up, squeeze it out, let it fill up, squeeze it out. You want that really saturated, but once that's done and you feel like it's nice and saturated, I take a towel and squeeze it over a towel so it actually soaks up a lot of that moisture, so it's just a nice dampness throughout. Normally I use a more full coverage foundation, and I ordered this Sheer Glow foundation from NARS, and this is in the shade Santa Fe, so we're gonna give this a try. Tap a little bit of the product onto my hand with this Morphe JH03 foundation brush and start bouncing that brush up and down on the face. What's nice about NARS, and a lot of foundation companies do this, it can go on and do a foundation match quiz, and they'll help you with the correct shade and type if you like liquid or powder. I always like to start with a liquid though. I think that I just get better results. Okay, so once I get that on, wow, this foundation is beautiful. It's very light. Their full coverage does feel a little bit heavier, but like I said, I don't mind full coverage, so. Okay, so once I kind of get everything on there evenly with my foundation brush, I'm gonna go back in with this beauty blender And all this does is just ensure that the product doesn't look too cakey. It's gonna pick up any excess product that's left on the skin that's not necessary. Next, we are going in with concealer. This is the NARS in the shade Madeline. What's nice too about NARS is they sell these little travel sizes, so if you're not sure about the product or your shade, order something a little less expensive. So all I'm gonna do for concealer, normally I would do my forehead, my under eye, the middle of my nose, the chin, and I'd really like contour and cut that out, but today we're keeping things super simple and just natural. All I'm gonna do is a couple lines like that underneath just to take any unwanted dark circles out underneath those eyes, and it's just gonna give us some dimension to the face naturally where the sun hits us. Okay, I lied. I'm putting some on my forehead too. Whoever knows me well knows that I don't ever go natural, so this is for all y'all. Okay, so I'm going to use that same beauty blender. I'm trying not to make an ugly face while I do this. Okay, so once we've got the concealer all blended out, you can see it just brings lightness to the face, but still has a very natural look. And then the next step is really important. There's a misconception about baking and setting, and I know I've talked to a few of my blush babes and they don't know which is which. What happens is you put the product on, and in order to set it, you put like a setting powder on top of it. Now if you bake it, that's a second step. So any product, any dry product on top of a wet product is just setting it. An additional layer of powder is considered baking. Today we're not doing any baking, we're not doing any contouring. This is just making everything look fresh and put together. So I'm gonna go in with this Anastasia setting powder. This is in the shade Vanilla. Just gonna shake it up a little bit. And all we want to do is, because we want to keep the skin looking dewy, so right under my eye is where it usually creases the most, so I'm just going to grab a little bit, and it seems scary, but you take that same beauty blender that's damp and just pat underneath that eye there. And this is just going to set that under eye. So patting that on there with the damp beauty blender is going to give me a little more coverage than if I were just to use a brush to set that, but we do want to set the entire face. Foundation brush, this is the JH01, and there's just a little bit of product in my lid. It's a little bit hard to see, but take this big brush here and tap off any excess, and I'm just going to go over the whole face and blend out that under eye and just set all the foundation. And once we're done with this step, this will be all the setting, baking, all that will be completely done. So you can see it's not a huge process or ordeal, and your foundation will stay on nice all day long. Okay, so we've got primer, foundation, concealer, and then we've set the face. So now we're gonna move on to dimension. And today I'm using this Too Faced Natural Lust bronzer. Taking a little bit of that bronzer. I'm gonna start right here underneath the temple, work my way down. So I do a couple of those like downward motions and then just some big circles to blend the product out. Like I said, we're not trying to do a super cut look. We're just wanting the face to have a little bit of color and bronze. If you've got a smaller forehead, this step isn't super necessary, but it's always, you know, personal preference. So I like to take some bronzer right around my hairline, but if you want to just do the cheeks, you can totally do that too. So you can see that just bronzed us up a little bit. Going on to blush, and sorry, this palette is dirty. This is the Morphe 9B palette. My lipstick I picked out was a little mauvier, so I think I'm gonna kind of go in this. You can see it's a little bit of an angled brush. Tap, tap, tap. We'll use a little bit of all three. Hit the rounds of my cheeks there. When you smile, you can kind of hit those right there. Color and rosiness. And then last but not least of the face, I'm going to do a highlighter, and there's so many amazing highlighting products out there. The MAC Hyper Real Glow palette is something I tend to go to. This just has a bunch of bronzy colors to it, and I take my little fan brush and I just kind of hit all three of them. Normally I'd be going crazy with the highlighter, like I want that crap to shine, but we're just keeping things really natural, so I'm not even going to go on the top of my cheek where I normally go. I'm just going to hit that apple right there and then drag it up. All right, so face is done. That is it. Super, super simple. Next, going to do the brows. I always use the Anastasia dual-ended brush, and I'm just keeping it really, really simple. I normally do chiseled, dramatic brows, but all I'm going to do today is take this little granite powder duo here, and I'm just using that lighter shade, dipping that angled end in there. So just hitting the product lightly on the tail and then taking that spoolie end, blending that product out. So I just added a couple brush strokes right at the inner corner of that brow, but I'm keeping things very, very light. You can see it's a lot more natural. Now, if you were blessed with great brows and you don't need to fill them in, you can use just a little bit of clear or colored brow gel and just set the brows in place. Also, there's amazing microbladers out there now too, so if you've got that done, then you don't even have to worry about this stuff. I over plucked and over waxed in middle school. Let me tell you, I think I had like 3 eyebrow hairs hanging on for dear life. For a little bit too, I was using the Anastasia pencil that has a pencil on one side and then the spoolie on the other, and I really like that method too. And they also have a pomade that I used to like as well. Honestly, they're all great. There's really not one I like better than the other. I kind of just rotate the products. Okay, so you can just see they're just a little more defined. Nothing crazy. Face is done, brows are done. We're moving on to the lid. Set the lid with some liquid concealer, and this is the Stay Naked in the shade 40NN. And I'm just going to use a dot, like nothing crazy. And using the tip of that same beauty blender, I'm gonna add a little bit more. This is the, I use this so much it's like cracked and gross, but anyway, this is the JH08 brush, and it's just like a smaller defining foundation brush. I'm gonna use that instead of the beauty blender to buff this out. I just wasn't liking the way that was looking. This is the JH07 brush. Nice little fluffy. I go back in with that Anastasia setting powder, and we don't need a ton, just a little bit to set concealer in over our lid. Changed my mind last minute. I was using this sultry palette for my mirror, and then I was looking at how gorgeous this was, and it's super neutral, so we are heading down a different path here. I'm going to take, this is the JH36 eyeshadow brush, and let's go in. I'm gonna set the whole lid first with this fresh shade here. And I'm literally just going to bounce the brush on and then spread the product just to put some lightness to the eye. We're just literally putting the product right on and brushing that all over, covering the entire lid. Cinder shade, it's just a nice kind of gold shimmer to it, and we're just gonna be using 3 colors today. This is going to be for the crease and right underneath my brow bone there, using windshield wiper motions, going back and forth. And then I like to do just small little circles after I feel like I've got all that product on with the back and forth motion. This might be a little bit dark for some people on a regular basis, so you know what? See, I'm going back to my glam. Back to natural, Megan. Natural. Okay. So we're gonna go back to this Tarteist Pro Glow palette, like I originally said, and I'm gonna use this Sculpt color here, and this is just a really neutral bronzy color, and I'm gonna do that same thing, just using back and forth motions. Now you can do this with any 3 colors, but you always want to start with that lightest shade and then work your way towards the darker shades. You can see that just gives a really pretty dimension to the eyelid. Obviously we're in quarantine, I have not been able to get lash extensions, so I ordered these on Ulta. These are the Kiss Naked Drama collection, and this is the lacy pair, but it looks a little bit shorter and more natural, so I thought I would do that for this look. If you are not a pro and don't want to put false lashes on, just do some mascara. That will be plenty fine. You don't need to do anything other than that. It will be beautiful. So I will be right back. I am going to put these. So I've got lashes on. I put just a little bit of mascara to blend my natural lashes to the false lashes. The JH39 darker shade we use for our third color in. Just swiping the product underneath my waterline. This is the Rimmel London Volume Accelerator Mascara, and I'm just using a little bit on my lower lashes. So what I usually like to do is put a little mascara on, and then I'll go back in with brow brush and like a tornado when I do makeup. Brush through those and take some of those like clumps off. You can see it just makes it a lot lighter. Two things left. We're going to set the face. I like to use, this is the Anastasia Dewy Cover Up My Eyes a little bit. I don't want a ton of setting spray on my false lashes. And we just, for lips, I wanted to just do something pinky, mauve-y, springy. So I'm gonna start with Mauve Liquid Matte lipstick, and then I'm gonna top with this NARS gloss, and this is in the shade Turkish Delight. I actually use this for my wedding day. Okay, this is the look today. Super natural. Explaining it obviously took a little bit longer, but like I said, if you were to practice this, you could get this down in 10-15 minutes, and it just makes you look alive and fresh. If there's anything else you guys want to see, please comment. I will try and do what you ask for. In my next video, I'm going to do some nice loose beach waves and show you how to do those at home. But other than that, please like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys are all staying safe and healthy, and we will see you soon. Thank you so much.